Hi my muddy people, welcome back. I'm Nat at Mud Magic. Thank you for joining me again for not a kiln on load this time. We're back in the studio, we're back with Stevie the Wonder Wheel. So I had a message from Emily at Star Ceramics asking me to show how to marble clay. So I replied and said I'd already done a couple of videos, but I realised all they were really was throwing them. So I thought I'll show you a little bit about how I wedge them. It's pretty easy how I do it, not to say it's the right way like I always say. So this one goes out to you, Emily. I hope you learned something from it. So I'm going to do a bowl, just a little bowl today, because I haven't marbled a little bowl before, like a medium-sized bowl. So I've got 2 lots of 500 grams of clay, and all I do is just kind of try and get it into a bit of a ball first, and then I just put like a dent in there, like a hole in there. Pick my colour. So these are the colours. That's the horrible red that I didn't like, the malachite green, the better red. And then I've got the violet, the bright yellow, the pink, and the turquoise. So they're all, I'm pretty sure they're all Abbott stains, so let's put them away. So I'm going to use today just my normal go-to one, which is the blue that I always use. So this is Ultra Blue, Ultra Stain. I'm not sure what brand this one is, but anyway, it's just that kind of colour blue. So all I do is just tip some in. I don't ever weigh or anything. I know a lot of people do, but I just tip in about that much. Lighter or darker, whatever you want. The blue doesn't need as much as the violet and the pink. You need heaps, so I'll do about that much in the violet and pink, wedge it all up, and then I'll do the same again and keep adding it. But the blue, that's fine, that's plenty. So then you just kind of like wet it a lot. So obviously it's a powder, and then I smush it with my fingers. So this is not a clean job to do, it's a very messy job, and it's still quite dry. So then I add more water and keep doing that until about there. And now it's just in a liquid form, like it's full liquid, because if you don't do that, then you're going to get streaky bits of dry colour through your clay, like dry dark pieces through your clay. Whereas if you do that and make it all wet, then it will go through a lot nicer and a lot easier. So I'm just going to wash my hands, but like a cooking show, I'm not going to make you watch me wedge that. So I have prepared earlier. So with marbled clay, once you've done that, you need to wedge it about 50 times that way, turn it sideways 50 times back that way, and then you need to wash your hands, wash your board, get all the blue off, because you'll still have blue on the side where your hands were, and then do it again about 20 times each way. And you need to turn it because you don't want to have mottles through of white clay. If you're marbling it with white, it's not so bad, but I'm marbling today with black. So if you have a little streaks of white clay through, you'll find that you really notice it when you throw it, and it looks terrible because you'll have this just one little thing of white and everything else black and blue. So 2 I prepared earlier. So that is the same pretty much as that same amount of stain. So you just keep going and going and going till you get it like that. Sometimes I'll just do half and half and go for it. Today, just so I can show you what I do, I'm just going to cut each one in about half. You can just pull it apart, which I usually do, but then you get your finger marks in it. And if you do that, that can then, your finger marks from squishing and pulling it can become air bubbles. So I'm just cutting it. So you can see there's no white, there's a tiny little streak of blue. That's what I was talking about. So just wipe that in. So I just do, even when I do quarters, I'll often put it into a ball and just do 4 quarters in the ball and bash it together. But I'm going to do patties just to show you. So this is what I do when I do my smaller marbling. So you can even cut this into 6. At the moment I'm liking the bigger marbling, the bigger bands, so I'm just doing 4, but you can do it into 6, get the smaller marbling. Don't do it too small, just go together. And then when you put it on the top, what I've learned is if you kind of roll it on the top like that to try to avoid air bubbles between the layers. And then if you're using a third colour, of course, you put that and then you start again, or a fourth colour, how many ever colours you want, but I'm just doing the 2 colours. So that's 500 grams each, so that's about 1 kilo of clay, about 2 pounds. So then I push them together like that, and then I do all 4 sides. So try to get it sort of bash out if there's any air bubbles in the middle as well. Because I'm not going to wedge it, I never wedge it, and I'm not going to cone it because you're going to lose your marble. Oh. Whoa, I'm getting a bit too excited. My phone went flying. So, alright, better stop doing that. And then just get it into a circle. Alright. So you can see even here the blue has gone over the black here a bit. Doesn't matter because it's all part of the fun. And then when you put it on the wheel, you know I always love the bums. I always show you the bums. If I put that on the wheel, that's just going to be a black bum. So you can put the side on to try and get a bit more marbling. Top, whatever, I'll probably just put the black because it'll be interesting to see when it comes through, because sometimes when you throw it you still get a pretty bum. So come on, bring you over here and grab my towel. Okay, and then we'll just, so that's it, that's how easy it is. And then we'll just try and line that up. This is my Hartley and Noble back system. Gee, I love it because my wheel doesn't have back pins, so it's got a collar that goes over the wheel which has the back pins. So that's the whole collar that sits over the wheel, and then you've got your back pins, and then you've got your little adapter, or you can put full backs, which I've got as well, or the adapter to put your little bits in so that you don't have big massive bats on your shelf taking up your space of your shelf. Just put the lights on. See what I'm doing. Okay, so let's just go for it. So as I said, I've never done just like a dessert bowl sized bowl in my marbling, so you kind of got to push it down obviously onto the wheel. Ugh. And then because I'm not going to cone it up or down, I'm just going to sort of center it there. But you just have to make peace with the fact that you are going to probably get a lot of air bubbles because you haven't coned it and you haven't wedged it. So you just have to deal with it, and you just have to pop them as they come out. So I'm going to just do a wider base, I think, with this one. So the black clay that I use, that's Keen's Mid-Fire Black and the Keen 6 White. It's new bags of white, so they're really soft too. They're normally a bit harder, but the black clay is almost like porcelain. It's so soft. So this is actually feeling really soft. So I hope it's okay. I hope it survives. But we'll see. As I've said before, if it's on YouTube and you're watching it, it mustn't have been too bad. So I'll see how I go. So I'm just going to get down and out. So as you can see, it already looks like I've lost the marbling. Why bother? But when you reveal it, it's beautiful. So I'm just going to compress the base. Don't want any S cracks. So this is just how I pull a bowl. Everybody's different. It's a bit wobbly. I think it might end up not very centered, but we'll see. We can always chop the top off, right? We all know I'm no expert, so we'll See what we get. So as usual, pulling towards the center, because especially with bowls and things, you'll end up flopping. If it goes outwards, it's so much harder to bring it back in. And this clay is so soft, so I want to try and keep it coming towards the center. That's really wobbly. That's all right. It's because I'm rushing too. I should have taken more time centering it, but that's okay. We'll chop the top off. So they've left quite a fair bit in the middle there. So I'll be able to put a nice foot on that. Just means that your actual bowl's not as big because you've left so much clay in the bottom. But that's okay, it'll be what it'll be. All right, a bit of a bubble. Okay, so I'll just cut a little bit of that top off. There's a bit of a wobble bobble. There we go, that's better. And then might just compress the wall a little bit before I make them into a bowl. So you can see the big marbles already, because I only did the 4 patties. It's going to be quite big, nice marbling. Interested to see when this is fired, when it's got its clear on it and everything. As you know, I don't particularly like to put glaze on them. I like having just the clear. I've still never done it. One day I'll do it and I'll think, why didn't I always do it? I love it. But for now, just the clear. All right, that's a bit muddy inside. Okay, so the good thing about with bowls is that you can get inside and outside a lot easier with your rib than you can with let's do one more, than you can with a mug. I might just, oh no, I was going to turn the top over, but then it makes it harder to clean the rim. I was going to turn the rim out, but I think I'll leave it. Okay, so it's very smushy at the moment, so you can't really see inside, but actually, the thing is, I'm moving you around a lot already. I'm probably going to regret doing this, but I'll show you inside, really muddy. And then you just get your rib. Actually, I might cut some of that bottom off first. I love this. As I've shown you before, my favourite tool for cutting off down here all this excess clay. So you can also use a foot tool and make that, push that in and make that one of those bobbly feet that I do on bowls and mugs sometimes. But the problem with doing that with marbled clay is that it then is hard to get the slurry off to reveal the marbling. So you end up with a little bobbly foot, which is really nice. I really like the look of it, but it's just like, looks like slip, like you can't see the marbling. So I'm not going to do, I've done it a few times and then afterwards thought, oh, what did I do that for? So that looks a lot better shape already. Again, I will get more of that trimming. I could bowl it a bit more if I wanted to, but I like that shape. It's almost like a small ramen bowl. If you wanted to belly it out a little bit while you're doing that. So I'm just getting the slip off to reveal the marbling, because it's much easier to do it at this point. And then at the moment the rim, yeah, you can see the rim a little bit. If you watch the rim, at the moment it's just mushy, and you just go, again, get the slip off, and it reveals the marbling on the rim, which I love on a bowl because you can see the rim. So that will leave quite a bit of a kind of like, not really sharp, but just a jagged sort of edge on your rim. But it's fine because you just get it at trimming. So I don't worry about that. So I usually tie my hair up, but it looks horrible tied up. Okay. So you just, as I say, it's much easier to get your rib into a bowl, obviously being open, than it is into a mug. So I just go over this a fair bit because it's much easier to get it off now than at trimming. If you can, there'll still be lines and stuff left behind, but. And then I even go along the bottom with the rib. Get as much as I can. All right, that'll do. So I'll just show you, because I showed you before. So you can see the outside, and as I said, it's quite big marbling because I only did the 4 patties, but if you made it 6 then you would have had the thinner lines, but I quite like that. And so the inside now is much better. I can work out how to do it. There we go, much better. So that's it. That's pretty easy, hey, from go to O. The hardest part of it is wedging the clay to clay, doing like 150 wedges. When you're doing one, it's okay, but when you're doing a whole batch, it's very tiring. It's a good workout. So Emily, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was what you were after, what you were wanting to know. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for joining me. Stay muddy and have a magic day. Bye.